Good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. Happy Monday morning. Appreciate you guys being back. See some new faces on there. Several people are back again for our next series. For those of you that don't know, and this is your first time here, we have done a couple series now. We did the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, and then we did Shift. And now we're starting a new series called Real Estate, the Fundamentals. If you want to plug into the MREA or the Shift one, you can go to savvyagent.biz/MREA or /shift to catch those episodes. If you're not able to participate and show up on Monday morning, know that since you registered, you'll be getting an email every week with a link to the video and audio recording, which a lot of our participants watch it at a different time. Let me give you a little background. We're going to cover a lot of ground in 30 minutes today. So a couple years ago, I have a history of bodybuilding and working out and things like that. Several years ago, I walked for the first time into a CrossFit gym, and I thought to myself, hey, you know what? I've got a whole several years of lifting weights, doing things like that. This is going to be a breeze for me. As I walked in, I saw this guy, I outweighed him by a good 40 pounds, and he was snatching a significant amount more weight than I could, and it bothered me. So I watched him. I was like, how in the heck is this little guy snatching more weight than me? And I watched him do it several times, and it finally dawned on me why he was able to lift more weight and more beautifully than me. And it was because he was wearing these shoes, these exact shoes. Well, not these exact ones, but same color, same brand, same style. And in my mind, I was like, that's it. I figured it out. This little guy's lifted more weights than me because he's got these shoes that are made for the sport. And so guess what I did that afternoon? I went and bought these exact same shoes, same color. I express shipped them to me, got 2-day shipping. That day I got the shoes, I walked into the gym, and guess what? I still could not snatch as much weight as this guy, even though I was determined it was the shoes. The trick was he had honed the specific skills, the mobility, and practiced over and over and over and over again to become incredible at that one lift. And it started a journey for me to improve my flexibility, and I broke down the movement into the separate little pieces of the movement to get better at it. And so that in essence is what this series is going to be about, is really getting clarity on the fundamentals. At Family Reunion this year, we are going into the biggest shift and change in our industry we have ever seen. And I think naturally we're going to want to try to be really creative on creating new solutions on how to succeed in a new market. But here is the truth. The fundamentals of what we do as real estate agents stay the same. We may be able to stack some new creativity on top of those fundamentals, but if we get too far away from the fundamentals, we are actually going to inhibit our ability to succeed in this market. So at Family Reunion, as I had that aha, I need to get my people more clear on the fundamentals of real estate. I jotted down a few specific things that I thought were important for us to focus on over this series. And as I looked up the fundamentals, I don't know if you know this, but Tim Duncan's nickname, Tim Duncan is one of the best power forwarders of all time in the NBA. His nickname was the Big Fundamental. And his teammates described him as he worked tirelessly on the fundamentals. He knew how many steps to the left it took to step and cover. I mean, he just worked on the fundamentals over and over and over again. So some of the things we're going to talk about today are over this series. You're going to be like, I've heard this before. But I challenge you to go through them. Let me walk you through real quick. Let me share my screen. And we're going to walk you through kind of the format that we're going to be covering in this series. So number one, this checklist here are going to be some of the things that we're going to be covering in the fundamentals. We're going to go over the career growth initiative tools, what those look like and how to implement them, the 4 conversations. We're going to talk specifically about Ignite and Bold. We're going to talk about a powerful CRM, contact relationship management software. We're going to get deep onto time blocking strategies, lead generation follow-up. We're going to talk about what it takes to have a great accountability partner or coach or be one for somebody else. We're going to talk about the KW app and how to use that app more efficiently. We're going to talk about how to get the most out of your team meetings and really a education growth map. We're going to make sure your websites are really optimized as we're coming into a year of leaning more on technology. And then I'm going to walk through not only how to prepare a listing presentation, but I'm going to walk you through specifically how to make your listing presentation more powerful and close more in your listings presentations and also your buyer presentations. And then we're going to walk through some strategies around increasing script practice. This year, it is critical for us to improve and increase our skill set. This is a skill-based market. So let me walk you through a little bit what the format of this meeting is going to be moving forward. Every week, I'm going to jump right into one of these strategies that I want to focus on. The things I'm going to cover in them are this: what, why, where, how, and how again. There's two hows in here. Let me explain why. What, I'm going to tell you what it is, where to find it, why it's important. So we're going to go into that. It does me no good to say, hey, you need to be implementing this and doing this in your real estate business if we don't understand why it's important, because some of the tasks, some of the monotonous tasks it takes to be successful in this business are just not fun to do. And naturally, if we don't connect the why or the purpose to why we're doing it or how it's going to drive results, we won't create it into a habit, into our world. Third thing is where. I'm going to talk about where to plug into this tool, where to find the tool, and just really make it easy, because a lot of times, because the majority of us, myself included, are super impatient people, is we can make the connection of saying, oh yeah, I know I need that in my business. We go try to find the tool or implement it, and within 30 seconds we get frustrated because it's not user friendly or whatever it is, and we determine, oh, this sucks, I'm out of here. And so I'm going to tell you exactly where to find it. I'm going to talk then the two hows. Number one is how to set it up, because this is a business of systems. How to set it up, and then lastly is how do I systematically use it. So for example, when we get into the KW app, it's not enough just to set it up on your phone and leave it, but I'm going to talk to you specifically, how do I create a system around this that's going to leverage me and work to my favor. So that is going to be the format every single week. Is every one of these tools I'm going to cover the what, the why, the where, the how, and the how again, okay? Let me show you one more thing real quick here to lay the foundation for our conversation. If I can find it somewhere on my screen here. All right, a lot of you guys have seen this before, this drawing. And to me, I know I'm a beautiful artist, and it's going to be what I do when I retire, make a lot of money, obviously, because this is a thing of beauty. However, this to me is what a real estate machine looks like. The thing that I want to get clarity for all of us is, in my opinion, we're not necessarily in the business of selling homes. We get to sell homes as a byproduct of how well we actually run our real estate business. Our business is systematically bringing value to people. So the more people that we can bring our value to, our unique value proposition, add value to a relationship, as a byproduct, we'll eventually get to help them sell a home or buy a home, and we'll be able to do that repeatedly for those same people and get referrals for them over and over and over again. If we approach our business in that mindset of how do we create a system where we can systematically create and nurture relationships, we will sell and we will hit our goals as far as the number of homes we're going to sell. So this graph here, just for those of you that haven't seen this before, I always draw a circle here that represents our database. Many of you know that with my team, we don't use the term database. We call it a data bank, because we know that every single person we drive to and add to our database is worth future money. The key here is we need 4 specific lead sources, and we know there's a million different lead sources out there for us to tackle. We need to set up these lead sources that we have an opportunity to provide our value. And once someone raises their hand to say, yes, I want a portion of that value, they're in essence giving us permission. So this line here represents permission. That is what our business is about. Get clarity on our value, know how to portray or illustrate our value proposition, put ourselves in an environment where we get to show our value, and then someone raises their hand and says, yes, I find value in that. Please give that value to me again. And that is where the relationship starts. They give us permission. Once they're into our database, that is where we get to systematically continue to bring value to them over and over and over again. And to me, that is what our business is all about. If you can do this well, people will continue to raise their hand over and over and over again when they're ready to say, yes, now is the time. Thank you for sending me this report for the last 18 months. Now I am ready to sell my home. Or yes, my husband did just get a job transfer. We do need to sell our home, okay? So yes, we need to chase the immediate business. However, the long-term longevity of your business is built on this model of systematically creating this machine. So today we're going to jump into the first tool that I think is the number one thing that we need to have some clarity on before we can really build on with these other tools, and that is the Career Growth Initiative Calculator. Now, I know some of us that have been sitting in a team meeting have fought the whole CGI process, but let me give you this. 5 years ago, Keller Williams as a company implemented the growth initiative from a growth standpoint, and we increased our profitability by over 500%. Those same principles are the exact same principles built in the Career Growth Initiative, and I know the agents that are plugging into the system are seeing the exact same results in their gross commission income. They're significantly increasing. And here is the power of the Career Growth Initiative, is we get so focused naturally on the end result that we get blinded to the immediate activities that drive the result. So that is the difference between a lead measure and a lag measure. An example of this is, I hear this over and over and over again from agents, is I want to make $100,000 or I want to make $200,000 in real estate, whatever that number is, and that they set that as their goal, and that's great. But the problem is they wake up every morning thinking about that goal and not on the specific activities that drive that goal. So once we get clarity on what that end result is or that lag result is, we need to work that backwards to what are the specific daily activities that need to happen over and over and over again. And I know with certainty by focusing on those activities that the end result will show up. So the first tool in the Career Growth Initiative, and the Career Growth Initiative has all of these tools: listing management, listings, pipeline, GCI to track, agent trend, agent language of real estate, local expert. We're going to talk about all of these and how to implement them in your business. But today, the first one is listing management, a yearly plan for profitability through growth in market share with the help of the CGI Calculator. So let's jump into the questions we have here in regards to the CGI Calculator. Number one, what is it? We just described exactly what the Career Growth Calculator is. The thing I want you to remember about the CGI Calculator is there's tools that you use ongoing, and there's tools that you use them once and set them and forget them. So the whole calculator portion of the CGI is you really set it once for the year, and it tracks automatically for you, okay? Some of the other tools we talk about are tools that you're going to reference and look at daily. But this is something you plug in once and you're done for the year, maybe a minor adjustment in June. Why is it important? Because number one, if you don't track your numbers, you don't hit your goals. So this sets you up to be able to track your numbers really easily. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Where do I find it? So let's jump in here, and I'm going to show you exactly where to go to set up your CGI, your Career Growth Initiative goals. So inside of your My KW, after you log in, you're going to go to KW Connect. From KW Connect, there's a growth tab at the top, and this is your Career Growth Initiative. So once you go into the Career Growth Initiative, this is where everything in regards to the Career Growth Initiative tools are found. So you can see here that it's got a dashboard for me where I can go in here and it will actually show me what my performance is to date. And it also gives me the ability to start tracking my the thing I know I have to track is, which is my number of appointments. But if I haven't set my goals yet, this will show a 0 in here. So I need to go into either, it will say full CGI calculator, or if you have not set your goals yet, there will be a box here that says you haven't set your goals for 2018. Set them now, and you can click set them now. Once you go into the career growth initiative, yours is going to look a little bit different than this but I wanted to show you this screen because you won't be able to see all the other agents' goals. That's something that from a leadership standpoint, I have access to. Now, but the reason I wanted to show you this is because once you set your goal becomes my goal. Your goal becomes the whole leadership team's goal. But if we don't know what your goal is and we don't have the ability to look at it, we don't know how to help you hit your goal. So, for instance, if I had a meeting, I see Stacy on here. Stacy, if I had a meeting with you this afternoon, guess what I'm going to do before we meet? I'm going to come in here and look where you're at in relation to your goal. But if your goal's not entered, I don't know what your goal is, and it's going to inhibit our ability to have a deeper conversation. So this is why we love to see all of our agents have their goals in. Once you go in here, you can go to set my goal. And once you go to set my goal, again, I know nobody is more impatient than I am. So I share in your impatience, and a lot of times we go in this and we're like, this looks confusing, I'm leaving. So I'm going to break it down to its simplest form for you today and walk you through exactly how to do this. So I have it set up in here for an example of $100,000. So we're going to work it backwards. If you wanted to make $100,000, all we're going to do is walk through this screen and fill in the numbers and be done for the year. So profit, I want to make $100,000. Tax, you have the ability in here to put how much in taxes you anticipate you're going to have to pay off of your income. Because when we say profit, this is not gross commission income, this is net profit. Because the net profit is what you get to go spend on either in investing or feeding your family or taking your family on vacation or buying that kick-butt sports car. So net profit goes in here. What percentage you anticipate you're going to pay in taxes? It naturally, some of these boxes are filled in automatically for you. Like this one, they auto-populate tax with 40%. The majority of us are going to pay less than 40% in taxes, okay? So you can put 20% in here, you can put 30%, whatever you want. Royalty cap for everyone in Keller Williams is $3,000, so that's auto-populated. Company dollar is what you pay in cap. So I think this auto-populates with $20,000 because that's the average across the United States. But you can put in exactly what the cap is for your office, which the majority of the offices in Utah are $15,000. And then you put in your monthly expenses. Now, per the MREA model, if you're growing and getting bigger, they recommend that about 30% of your income is spent on expenses. For somebody that's doing about $100,000 in business, which equates to about 20 deals, your expenses are going to be significantly less unless you're reinvesting in your business to get to 50 deals or 80 deals. So you need to look at this and say, how much really am I spending a month in my car, my signs, my advertising, whatever that is, and you need to put that number in here. So let's say for someone that's just doing $100,000 a year, let's say that's $1,500 a month, okay? Additional means, now this is set up so that if you're on a team or you have somebody on your team that's getting a salary or a draw, they can come in here and fill it out. I'm going to assume that the majority of the people on this call are not necessarily on a team, but they're either a rainmaker with people on their team or they're a solo agent. So here you'd leave nothing in there. But if you had a salaried person and you were walking through this exercise with a buyer's agent on your team, you could come in here, or an admin that also does some business on the side, you could put in a salary or a draw. But for the most of us, we'll put none in there. You can put in what percentage of a commission you get on average. So I put 3% in here, assuming that I'm going to get 3% on every transaction. If you feel like it's less, you can change that to 2.5 or 2.75 or whatever you need. The key here is to be as accurate as you can. Commission split, again, if you are running your own business, you get 100% of your commission. If you're a buyer's agent on a team, then you'd say, hey, whatever my split is, if I'm getting 50% of the commission or 60% or whatever that is, you'd put that in here. Average home price. So whatever the average price of the home you're selling is, say it's 250 or 285, or not 150. Let's go with the average right now, $280,000. Okay. And then you can put in here how much of your focus is on listings versus buyers. Then the standard conversion rate right now is listings taken to listings closed. You're going to put in here. So the number of listings taken to listings closed right now in our market, about 82% of homes that are listed are selling. You can look at your own statistics and put them in there. But let's run this at 82%, which is the average market right now. And then the percent conversion rate listing appointments to listings taken. Now this is one where I see agents make a little bit of a mistake, because generally speaking, the year before they didn't necessarily put their goals together. They just kind of went by the seat of their pants, and the only people they were taking listings were the gimmies. Hey, my aunt just called me and is going to put her house on the market. And then they're like, well, I'm really good because I'm closing, I got a 95 or 99% conversion rate on all my listing appointments. But when you're going on listing appointments only with your family members, probably there's a good chance you're going to get all of them, right? Unless you're not a good family member. The key here is probably the majority of us are going to have to step outside of still do our sphere of influence, but we're going to have to step outside and get in front of people we don't necessarily have the relationship with, and naturally our conversion rate's going to go down a little bit. Industry standard for a producing agent is 75%. If it's a brand new agent to the business, you may take this down to 60%. If you've been crushing it for a long time in front of people and you got it down, you may increase this to 85 or 90%. I really wouldn't get above 90% no matter how good you are, because this market is going to be the most competitive market. So I'm going to leave it at 75%, which is the industry standard. So all I have to do is walk through these questions, and once I click submit, it's updated my goals for the year inside the system, and I'm done. So realistically, that should only take you about 10 minutes, okay, to walk through, and then you're done. And if you look over here, it starts giving me some information. It summarizes what we learned. So if I want to make $100,000, and I outlined what my expenses are, it's now telling me that my gross commission income for the year has to be about $143,000. It shows me what my cost of sales is going to be for my cap of $18,000. It tells me my expenses for the year are going to be $18,000. And then as I get down here, it now shows me that for me to hit my goals, I've got to have a gross commission income of $179,000, which is almost $15,000 a month. And now I want to break that down, because that's the lag measure. That's what's going to show up. I want to see the activities. I can now come down here and say, okay, it shows me I need to have 21.3 closings for the year, which is 1.8 closings per month. If I'm 50% listings taken, that means I've got to take 13 listings. That's 1.1 listings per month. Listing appointments with that conversion rate, I now know I need to go on 17.3 listing appointments this year. And now it recaps my monthly goal. Now everything rounds up for the monthly goal, but I look at this and I say, okay, now I know I need to go on 2 listing appointments per month. I need to take 2 listings per month. And I need to have 2 closings a month for me to get my $15,000 in GCI. Now that's great. I want to see that on the screen, and that's awesome, because now I'm like, I got clarity. I can take that $100,000 net profit goal and I can put it on the shelf, because I'm not going to wake up every morning thinking about the $100,000. I'm going to think on these goals. So now the trick with this is these have got to be in my face every single day. So some of you have seen this sheet here, which is the 4 conversations. For some of you, I've laminated this and given you a dry erase marker, so this has to be in your face every single day. Because what I want to look at here is my 4 conversations, which are, how much profit do I have to make every single month? So this was based off of the 4 conversations we just built, but I did it for a price of $285 and a little bit lower expenses. But what you do is, based off that sheet, you'd come in here and write in, across the bottom, I wrote in what my yearly goal is. And every single month, I'm going to fill this out. So I know for the month of March, if my goal is to make $11,900 in gross commission income, I've got to have 2 closings, I've got to take 2 listings, and I've got to go on at least 2 listing appointments. Okay? So now I'm going to, throughout the month, I'm going to keep track of my goals. Here, 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 and here. Now the trick with this is I should be able to walk into any one of your offices. Here we are, the 12th of March, and I should be able to walk in your office and quickly say, hey, where are you with your 4 conversations? And you should be able to pull this up and show me exactly where you are in your 4 conversations. Now the trick with this is I can immediately go in to help you with your business if you're tracking your numbers, because if you're having your listing appointments but you're not taking the listings, I know exactly what we need to focus on. We need to talk about your listing presentation and your closing skills. If you're taking the listings but the closings aren't happening, we need to talk about how you're marketing the property, how you're driving traffic. If you're taking the listings and closing the listings but you're not driving buyers off of it, then we need to talk about how do you accumulate and find more buyers per listing. Okay, so the 4 conversations gives you the ability to start making business decisions. And that is a trick. We need to be business people. So this is the 4 conversations. To give you an example of this, I meet with my team every Monday morning. So this here in a little bit at 9:15, I meet with my sales team. And this is how we track our 4 conversations. It's almost the exact same thing, a little more sophisticated. But this is Nick on my team. Every single person on my team has their own sheet. And these are the 4 conversations that we track. You can see what his gross commission income goal is for the month. You can see what we're tracking his closings. We can track how many contracts signed we have. We track how many appointments he's been on. And we have a 5th conversation we track on my team, which we call database permission ads. This is going back to that graph with the line with the permission, is we track how many people gave us permission every single day, and we've got a goal. So Nick has a goal of having 70 people this month give him permission to add them to our database and provide value to them over and over and over again. So we talk about that. So today, you can see on the 12th, he hasn't got in and updated his sheet this morning, but every morning before our call, he'll get in and update his numbers, and we'll track them religiously and have a conversation around every single one of these pieces. If you have people on your team, you need to be having that conversation with them. If you're a solo agent, you need to be having the conversation with yourself. It should be on your calendar to have that conversation. So that is the 4 conversations piece. So here is my challenge to you. We're at 8:27. This is the number 1 thing we need to get clarity on, because the rest of these tools do not matter if we don't have clarity on the goal of what we're trying to accomplish. So if you do not have your CGI goals set, my challenge for you is today, March 12th, or whenever you happen to be watching this, the day you watch this, today is the day you update your CGI goals. It should take you no longer than 30 minutes to get in, plug in the numbers. The last thing I'll show you is while I track my numbers on the Google sheet I showed you, or the PDF that I just showed you, I also encourage you on your weekly meeting with yourself to come in here and update the number. The only thing you can change with these plus and minuses buttons are the appointments. So update here the number of listing appointments you went on. The reason I want you to do it here as well is because one of the next tools I'm going to show you is called the multi-year trend report. Trending in your business is important for making business decisions. And if you don't input the numbers here, it won't automatically update this number on your multi-year trend report. The rest of these numbers, like you can see 28,154, this auto-populates from Winmore. So as you turn things into the office and you start having closings, it tracks how many closings that you have based on the paperwork you're turning in. So you don't have to track that for your multi-year trend report. We track it for you. The only thing that we don't have the ability to track for you is how many appointments you went on. So I'd encourage you to go in here. If you have people on your team, this is a great way for them to go in and update their numbers for you to track it as well. So number 1 tool today, the couple big takeaways are, don't fall into this trap of just thinking, hey, I see somebody else doing it, I'm just going to go buy all the tools they have and make my office look exactly the way they do. Let's focus on the fundamentals. We'll stack some of that stuff on. Those shoes do have value. They do help me, but they're of no value to me if I don't have the mobility, the skill set. So we're going to focus on the skill set. Number one challenge for today is go get your CGI goals set. It's not enough for you to know inside your mind what you want to make this year. Let's get it set so that every single person in our office, from a leadership standpoint, can make those their goals too. So thank you guys for plugging in. We're at 8:30. I want to respect your time. So every single week we're going to plug into this and roll it out. We're going to follow that exact same format, and we're going to plug into these tools at a high level. And you're going to find as you plug into the fundamentals that you're going to start acting more like a business person. You're going to have the data and ability to make business decisions, and more people are going to start raising their hand in your world to say, hey, you not only are you bringing value to my life, but you're a business professional. I need help. Come solve my problem. Come sell my home. Okay? So thank you guys for being here. Make it a great day. Make it a great week. You know where to find me if you need help. And I appreciate being in business with you guys. Take care.